What is worse is how James contributes less than 40% of the overall finances because he spends a large portion of his money on the social life he has grown accustomed to, which by definition means socializing with other women he meets. Did I tell you about when a client of mine called me very excited about her friend, whom she has known for years, and about how he has finally agreed to be her boyfriend and move in with her in Mexico? Now, according to her, they have been discussing this for about 3 weeks. But in her defense, she has known him for about 10 years. But he finally chose to start a relationship with her, and she is very happy and excited about this. My friend, who we will call Nikki, is a single mother of a 12-year-old boy and currently does live in Mexico. In fact, the city in Mexico where Nikki lives is known as one of the most popular tourist destinations for its culture, good food, and great weather. I can attest to this as I have lived in that same city for about 3 years off and on, while I was volunteering at various medical facilities. But that's a whole nother story. So when Nikki called me to share this exciting news, I was so happy for her. She seemed to be happy and she found someone. But as always, I am concerned for her mental state as she has been challenged with depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and other elements due to her past traumatic relationships. And this has happened over the years. I also know an element of her depression is triggered by her insecurities and also financial challenges. So this is a desperate grasp at love or attention, companionship, or even financial relief. I don't know. Of course, I expressed my concerns, but Nikki was quick to respond and state how she and her son, they've known this man whom we will call James for years. In fact, according to Nikki, James provided some mental support during some of her past challenges before she even started, seeing me and working with me as her therapist. And now James is going to load up his vehicle and leave the USA and live with Nikki. Oh, and by the way, his decision to live with her was made after he had recently broken up with his girlfriend. When I learned of this, I had advised Nikki that relationships, they are special. However, the challenge is for her to understand that patience can be her friend. It was not more than 2 months after James arrived in Mexico when I received a message from Nikki. She said that her boyfriend, James, had not been coming home at a reasonable time. In addition, he has been very cold towards her and verbally abusive to her son. She is scared and asked for guidance from me. Nikki has been my client long enough that I am not the type to say, "Oh, I told you so." And considering she has a son caught in the middle, time is not our friend. It was time to find out whether her mental strength could help her make hard decisions. Per Nikki, his actions included degrading her because of her weight, claiming to meet friends whom she learned are women, and her questioning him is because she does not trust him, which is a clear example of deflection on his side. And he tends to complain to her that she is not applying enough discipline to her son and is raising a weak mama's boy. And my favorite is how he continues to be jealous of her and attempt to manage her phone calls and messages in case she is speaking to other men. I want to thank the sponsor, Crank Golf, for supporting the series about sports performance and managing your mental health. Because of sponsors like them, we're able to keep things going and keeping topics fresh. If you want to support this page, please just click subscribe and click the bell so you can get updates on the next topics. Thank you again. What is worse is how James contributes less than 40% of the overall finances because he spends a large portion of his money on the social life he has grown accustomed to, which by definition means socializing with other women he meets. Nikki understood that it was time for a change and had a strong friendship circle, which had actually assisted her mental stability during her time in Mexico. This was when she had first arrived post her divorce when leaving the United States. This circle of trusting friends is a clear reflection of her as a person, her personality, and kindness towards others. And the reciprocation has been a good support network. Therefore, with my encouragement to move quickly, we have strategized some short-term changes and long-term goals that would ultimately remove this individual from her home. To Nikki's advantage, the country of Mexico tends to support its native people over foreigners. Basically, foreigners who are, we call gringos, because of the circumstances. Therefore, leveraging the local policia, which is Mexican police, would be to Nikki's advantage if things escalated. However, I strongly advise a less aggressive approach on behalf of her son being caught in the crossfire. I should note that Nikki has been my client for about 4 years prior to any of this, so she has a wealth of knowledge and sessions under her belt and the confidence to support her courage. So my role at this point has been advising and validating what she already appears to know. So what happened? It has been about 1.5 years since she kicked out her ex, and since dating and has dated with confidence until she currently has met her boyfriend, who has much less drama attached to his personality. She appears happy and is also thriving with work, as had proved her financial status. So it is important to say, therapy sessions are designed to listen both ways and apply best practices with common sense. All in all, it is still up to the client to make decisions. We all need to understand, and we all need to understand the risk and evaluate the decisions against the pros and cons. Then have the confidence to make the right choice. My name is Dr. Aaron Bryant, and thank you for watching and listening to the Mental Blueprint podcast. Until next time, always know that someone is listening and that someone is not just me. Be safe.